He raised an eyebrow and gave me a side glance. "Isn't that why you're here? Trying to recapture something from your past?" "I told you about the accident. I'm just trying to take it easy and recover." I smiled, hoping he would take the answer at face value. "Whatever you say. I've known you a long time, maybe longer than anyone outside your family, and I know when you're not giving me the whole story. But it's okay," he said, squeezing my hand. "I know you'll tell me the rest when you're ready." He gave me that smile that let me know he had my back. It comforted me, but at the same time made me feel guilty for not having stayed in touch with him all this time. Billy and Susie had both gone away to college, just like I had. Although we loved our families and had a great childhood growing up in Hillbilly Hollow, we all wanted to get some experience in the outside world. Susie had always wanted to be a fashion designer, so I wasn't really surprised to see that she had opened up her own clothing store after returning to our hometown. Billy had always wanted to be a doctor from the time we were little. He couldn't stand to see anyone or anything in pain. I remember when we were in maybe the 3rd grade, he'd found a bird on the ground. It had apparently flown into the glass of the Stones' living room window. He couldn't stand the thought of it dying. He brought it in and put it in a little shoebox. He got books from the library and even called the local farm veterinarian for advice. He fed it mushed-up crackers mixed with milk and nursed it back to health until, a couple of weeks later, it could fly away. That's who he was. He was the guy who took care of others. I was a little different. I didn't have a specific direction when I left for college. I had always enjoyed art and liked to draw, but it wasn't until I was in school that I realized graphic design could even be a career option. My main focus in going to college was to get out of town and see someplace new. After I graduated, one of my first interviews was with a firm in New York, and I had jumped at the chance to move to the city. It was everything I had dreamed about. Sure, it was busy and crowded, and there was a conspicuous lack of green space. Still, I enjoyed my job, my apartment, and my friends. Being back home, though, I was starting to wonder if I had made the right choice. My friends in New York were fun, but they didn't know me like my friends here. We had grown up together. We had weathered broken bones and broken hearts together. All for one and one for all. My wandering thoughts returned to the present as we pulled alongside the road and parked next to a little footpath that led over to Ford's Cross. The small lake was on a piece of property that was owned by the Ford family in the 19th century. According to folklore, the Fords were part of the Underground Railroad, and anyone who could cross the narrow, shallow part of the lake and make it to the barn at the back of the homestead would receive help. The Fords had family in Cairo, which bordered the Free State of Illinois, and would give food, shelter, and directions to those who needed their help. Thus, the small lake came to be known as Ford's Cross. That was one thing that was interesting about Hillbilly Hollow. Everywhere you turned, there was history. Billy grabbed the poles and bait from the back of the truck and handed me a small, soft-sided cooler. "What's in here?" I asked, holding up the cooler as I followed him down the path. "You'll see." He laughed and picked up the pace. "Hurry up, Emma. We're burning daylight." We found the spot where some rocks and an old felled tree jutted out over the water and started fishing. We spent the next couple of hours fishing. We talked some, but mostly just enjoyed being outside on a beautiful afternoon. Billy caught a blue catfish and a couple of smallmouth bass. I didn't manage to catch anything other than an empty pop bottle. Billy pulled together a few twigs and branches to make a small fire and used the fire steel on his keychain to start it. "Dinner?" he asked, holding up the cooler. "Sure." He found a large, flattish rock and set it in the middle of the fire, then took a packet of foil from the cooler and set it on the rock. Within about 15 minutes, we were eating fried chicken,